What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome back to the Inside Wisconsin Show here on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts. Trevor Thomas, John Anderson, J.A. We go from minor league Brewers to major league Brewers. Yes.
We've been promoted to the show.
Yes, we're up. We got called up. We're good.
And it's so important that I put on my best brewer hat.
Jeepers.
Right there. I know some guys are like, I got to have it clean. It's got to be crisp. It's got to be. I don't like the new ones with the big crown and the flat bill. I'm an old school guy, and to me, you got to have the loved and lived in look. And so I'm all right. And since we've got a brewer, and we've got a big leaguer, I'm going. I will see if it passes his muster. As you know, I have a ready supply. If in fact this is not up to snuff, then I'm looking at it right and I'm like 1, 2, 3. Well, there's just 6 of them just sitting over there, just in case.
Somewhere there's like 25 more in a box, Craig. We can find that, can't we?
Anyway, I'm just saying I'm ready. But this to me is, listen again, and we can't say it enough. It's the Inside Wisconsin. We love all comers. There's room for everybody under the tent. But we're kind of baseball guys.
Only Brewers guys, yeah.
Right. And if awesome. We win the World Series, that may change, but I'm willing to risk it to find out.
The Inside Wisconsin Show was created for guys like Owen Miller, our guest today, the Brewer player that was born and raised in Wisconsin, high school in Wisconsin, went out of state for college. Now he's back in Wisconsin playing for the Brewers. He meets all of the criteria for the Inside Wisconsin Show. Let's jump to him. Owen Miller here on the Inside Wisconsin Show.
The Inside Wisconsin Show is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Aaron's Company, Blaine's Farm and Fleet, Capital Credit Union, Festival Foods, Quick Trip, Miller Lite, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, Provea Health, and the University of Wisconsin-Platteville.
Hey, remember to subscribe on YouTube, leave a review, smash the like button, just get with us. J.A., there he is, Wisconsin's own, now Milwaukee Brewer, Owen Miller. Owen, thanks for coming on the Inside Wisconsin Show, brother.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
I thought by breaking out my best brewer hat with the real lived-in look that I was going to win the day, but not when somebody throws on the old Wisconsin pond hockey lid. Where did you get that deal?
In spring training, me and my buddy that I play with, we knew this site that we'd get these hockey hats from. And the one day, he's from Buffalo, and obviously I'm from Wisconsin. So the one day we went on there like a month ago, and all of a sudden, I'm like, man, it's like they knew that we were shopping on this site. There's a Buffalo one on there, and there was a Wisconsin one on there, so we had to buy them.
That's outstanding.
I mean, and I thought the the mitt, the glove, the MB on the hat was the best. But I think that one's right up there when it comes through. Hey, this has absolutely nothing to do with the Milwaukee Brewers. It has everything to do with every kid that's ever played baseball. What is it like to put on a big league uniform for the first time?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I had that opportunity in 2021. Got the call back in, I believe it was May of 2021. I was in Toledo, Ohio, playing for the Columbus Clippers with Cleveland. And, I remember I had a good chance to get called up. And after the game, my manager was like, we've been bouncing you around. You played first, you played third, you played left. And he goes, how about DH tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. He goes, in Cleveland. And so that's kind of how he told me. And then called my parents right after that and drove from Toledo to Cleveland the next day and made my debut. So definitely, I mean, a pretty surreal experience and something I'll never forget. But honestly, probably playing one of my first games for the Brewers is probably right up there as memorable. So,
but do you just stare at the locker with your name on it, or that jersey, or like, it's hanging in there, and you got to? I don't know. I just feel like I'm not sure I'd want to touch it, right? Like, is it probably not cool to take a picture of it? It just seems like that would be an amazing thing to actually. Here it is, and I'm now buttoning this thing up.
Yeah, it is, but I do now, kind of being in the big leagues a little bit longer. I kind of have realized that the guys that do well in their debut are the guys that really, understand, or I would say the guys that almost don't make it a big deal and are able to really stay in the moment are probably the guys that have the most success and do well early on. I would say definitely the guys that kind of start thinking too much along those lines, it'll probably kind of catch up to you, and you kind of, you kind of are almost taken back by everything. So definitely the guys that control the emotions the best and kind of just treat it like they're playing wiffle ball in the backyard. Those are the guys that do it the best.
Wiffle ball in the back 40. Been there. So here you are, a Wisconsin kid now playing for the Brewers. Let's go right there. How'd you do controlling your emotions walking out onto AmFam Field for the first time with your first game with the Brewers?
Good. Definitely really good. I mean, I definitely understood this offseason when I got traded over to the Brewers. Like, you definitely are excited and it's a dream come true. Like I tell everybody, it's obviously something that every kid dreams about and something that I've dreamed about my whole life. But with that being said, there's a very, fine line of like taking everything like, oh, this is, a dream come true and this is the best thing ever. And this is really, really cool to wake up and do it every day. There's a really big understanding of like, you still got to go to work every day and show up and do your job and rent is due. And, you got to do the things that basically got you to this point. And you have to show up to work every day with a certain mindset and you still got to work. So definitely an understanding of that and just enjoying it as you go.
There's some fellas that almost prefer to play somewhere else and come back and visit home because every day, like you probably see 16 people, at the ballpark. There's probably a lot of people calling, asking for like, there's a whole different set of circumstances that you have to deal with playing at home. How have you managed that so far?
I think pretty good. Like you said, there is, I mean, I could definitely, I've already told, like, I could have told you that when I was 19, 20 years old and I played for the Lakeshore Chinooks. So I kind of, I was 19 years old. I came home from college and I lived at home in the summer and played for the Chinooks at Mequon. And even to that, I would kind of look up in the stands and I'd be like, man, I wish I was almost in like wherever, somewhere not in Mequon here playing where a lot of people that I know are watching me. I'm like, it's nice these kids in Florida, they just come up here and play and for the Chinooks. I'm like, they don't know anyone. They don't care. So I'm like, man, I got like 50 people I know in the stands that are watching me cheering, when I'm striking out, walking back to the dugout. I'm like, man, I wish I didn't know anybody up there now. So I definitely understood that. And it was honestly almost probably good that I played for the Chinooks and kind of went through that and understood the process of handling that and doing that on a nightly basis. But when I got traded, definitely in the off season, I knew I was going to play for the Brewers. I knew that there was going to be a lot more things that went into it than just, showing up to the ballpark every day. And there's things that you have to control and handle. And I think I've been doing a pretty good job so far.
So that said, where are you right now? Like, you're not in your parents' basement, are you? Right? They didn't give you any heat to say, come back home and live in your room, did they?
No. My mom and dad were like, no. They're like, you can't live at home or whatever. But then I'm like, I can't. And I think then the whole off season I would like joke with my mom, like all the good, I'm like, why it would be good for me to live at home. I think at the end, I finally convinced her like, well, I guess if you want to stay at home, I guess. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not staying at home. But no, I'm renting a place from one of my good buddies from high school, right by the airport. So it's nice. Right when him and his girlfriend and their dog live on the downstairs, and it was nice. I didn't have to sign any apartment thing with anybody. Just got to Venmo him every month. He furnished the place up, so I'm more of a convenient guy than anything else. So it's about as convenient as possible. When we fly in from the road trip, it's only 4 minutes down the road. So it's perfect.
Nice. Solid. Let's go back to those Northwoods League days for a second. You traveled the state playing in the Northwoods League, and you mentioned how much that helped you. Talk about your time with the Chinooks and how that whole league, that wooden bat baseball league here in the Midwest and specifically in Wisconsin, helped you get to the Brewers now.
Yeah. So I played right after my freshman season, I played at Illinois State, and I had a good freshman year, and then I went and played for the Chinooks, and it was a grind, man. My freshman year, it was a grind. Like, I played, I think, maybe 50-some games in college, and then I played another 60 games with the Chinooks. So I had, like, close to 120 games, like, as, like, a 19-year-old log like that. I wasn't probably working out as, the best I should be or eating the greatest that I should be. So I remember when August came that year and back in 2016, I was dead. But it was really good to just, I don't know. It was fun just playing at all the, going to Madison, going to Kenosha. Green Bay was all right. We go to Rockford. We go to the Michigan teams too, Battle Creek and Kalamazoo. So it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with the guys on my team. It was just cool every night playing, being at home and playing baseball at night. Like, you couldn't really beat it. So I definitely had a good time. I definitely had, that was, I would say, a pretty big learning experience my freshman year. And then actually my sophomore year, I actually came back and I was in the Cape Cod for a little bit playing that summer. And then I came back and I played for the Chinooks for about 2 weeks, I believe, too, in my sophomore season too. So that was good. So.
All right, I'm here in Connecticut. Why'd you bail on the Cape Cod League, dude?
Well, it wasn't. Trust me, it wasn't. Well, I got a good story. I've had to tell this story a number of times. So, this is maybe a couple minute story. So, my sophomore year when I went out to the Cape Cod, that's like the prestigious summer league, baseball league that you want to play in and stuff like that. So when I was a sophomore, they set me up to go there and stuff. I went to play for this team, Harwich Mariners, and I get out there, and they're like, you're not on a full season contract. You're just on a temporary contract. And I'm like, whatever. I'm like, it's fine. I'm like, I just need to get out there. I'm like, if you let me play, I'm like, I'll be fine. And I get out there, and I'm there for like 2 weeks. I play 2 games, and they end up. They end up after the game. They send me home. They're like, hey man, there was a kid that I knew that was, like, I don't know. They're a little bit of politics. I could tell. Just kind of, I went to a smaller school. I could tell a kid was coming in. I think the coach kind of knew the kid from the previous school he had coached at, and the kid didn't get drafted. So he kind of came and took my spot. One of those ordeals. But, so anyways, I drive home 16, 17 hours from the Cape Cod League, come back to Wisconsin, and I contact the Chinooks. I'm like, hey, I need a place to play now. So I wait about a week and stuff. And I think my first game then with the Chinooks was like July 1st. Okay. This was in 2017. This was the next year. So, I played the very first game. The second game that I played when I showed up in Kalamazoo, I hit for the cycle, so everybody was, and I like to say, it's like, I don't know if the month or the week that I had off, probably the 17-hour drive that I had to drive home all pissed off from these guys releasing me, just over some, some stupid stuff. Probably maybe factored in, just put me into some type of different focus that I don't know. But I hit for the cycle in Kalamazoo. And then the next night we played, it was July 4th in Kalamazoo. I played and stuff, had a couple hits. And then the very next day, July 5th, I played Rockford in Mequon, and I hit for the cycle again. So I hit for 2 cycles in 3 games. It was probably to this date, my probably greatest accomplishment that I've done on the baseball field. So and then, funny enough, the very next game, I swung and I hurt my wrist, saying I was done. I tried to play through it, and I was done for the season, or done for the rest of the summer. So you want to talk about a roller coaster ride of a summer in 2017. I was up in the Cape Cod. I thought it was sick. I'm like, man, this is nuts. I'm like, I'm playing in the Cape Cod right now. It's the coolest thing. And then, boom, I get released. Sucks. But then a week later, I hit for 2 cycles in 3 games. Unbelievable. I'm different. I was on all these different interviews and on the news, and all these people texting me and stuff like that. And then the very next game, boom, wrist hurt, done for the season, done for the summer. So you want to talk about, I would have to tell that story to a lot of scouts. They would always, that it was just a good story when I would have to meet with teams in the fall. They'd be like, they had asked the cliche, well, name a time that you went through some, that you had to deal with some adversity and how you handle it. And I'm like, that's perfect that you asked that, because I got this story. So I had to tell that story probably, 20 times to different teams. So And every single scout goes, wow. He goes, that is actually the exact thing that I was looking for. That's unbelievable. So, yeah, that was my story from a 2017 Summer League.
Did you accidentally screenshot that accomplishment and send it to your coaches in the Cape Cod? Be like, whoops, my bad.
I think my coaches from Illinois State, like the guys that set me up to where I'm playing, like they were not happy that this guy out in Harwich, that these guys did this. They were like, yeah. And then I didn't like when I got drafted then, that next year in 2018. I mean, I was one of the higher picks on the team, like from, barely even playing a little bit. And they like put me on the list of like guys that got drafted. And I was like, I almost messaged them and said, whoa. Take me the hell off that stupid ass. Like, take me off that list right now.
Sure.
I'm like, I was not. I mean, I like kind of smile about this now. At the time, I was not happy at all, with these guys. And the only reason I did it is because my younger brother plays too. And I knew that maybe there could be a time where he, because he was committed to Alabama and stuff. And, so I was like, maybe he would go play in the Cape. And I'm like, I won't want to ruffle any feathers and light these guys up too much. So I just never said anything. But yeah, talk about like definitely something that fueled me that did not, it just wasn't right. It just wasn't right. So, yeah. So.
All right, one more for me, and then we're going to take a quick break. You talk about your brother being in it, and I think of the Watt brothers, right? From just down the road from where I grew up, just down the road from where you grew up. What is it like knowing that your siblings are just as good at sports, if not better than you? Hashtag beat your record at Ozaki High School, right?
Yeah.
What's it like having your brother in the spectrum too?
Really cool. I mean, I've always had a really good, probably when I was little, not really understanding, how much like the things I did with him and would say to him, and, just all the hours that we spent playing in the backyard together with our cousins. I definitely, when I was little, I would say that I probably didn't understand, I was just being a big brother and stuff like that. And, you don't really understand like, this is going to help him a lot when he's older and stuff, or when he keeps getting, keeps playing baseball more. But it's definitely has been really cool to see him, just kind of progress through the years as a baseball player. And, he was always just this little dude. When 6 years younger than me, he was just this little guy, So when I was 12, he was 6, he's just this little guy. And it's like, my mom would be like, you're using the softball, you're using the T-balls in the backyard when you're throwing those at him, right? And I'd be like, yeah, Mom. But, I'd throw the ball as hard as I could at him, and he'd always catch it, and he would throw it as hard as he could back. So it's just funny, man. When he was like 5, 6, 7 years old, he threw the ball. For being this little tiny guy, he threw the ball so hard when he was like that age. So it was cool to just watch him through the years. He was always a really good shortstop, and he always was a good infielder. And it's like, I realized that like when I went to college and I was 18 and he was 12, well, the things I'd tell him from when I was in college to when he was in middle school really helped him. Then when I got drafted, when I got drafted when I was like 21 and he was 15, well, then he committed to Alabama, and it's like I could tell that like me getting drafted and him being in, getting recruited really helped him. And then it's like when he was 18 years old and I made it to the big leagues, well, then like that helped him for the draft. And that, so it's just always worked out well that, we've always been like on a good, like, different age difference where, I definitely always felt like I could help him. And now I'm 26 and he's 20, so I just went and watched him the other night, actually in Beloit. Me, my mom, my dad, and my sister went and watched him. He's playing for the Cedar Rapids team in the Timber Rattlers League. In the High A League, in the Midwest League. So I went and watched him on an off day, which was the only time I've ever gotten to see him play in the minor leagues, and it's probably going to be one of the only times I get to see him play. So it's pretty cool.
So he throws hard. I just need this before we go to break. I want to know of guys throwing hard or guys with something. Was there a welcome to the big league moment? Like, did you have somebody throw you some giant curveball and you went, okay, these guys, I am going to have to get used to this. I belong here, but these guys, this is the stuff I'm going to see every day, not every other day or every fourth day?
I mean, my debut, the first game in the big leagues, I went 0 for 5 with 3 punchies. I faced J.A. Happ, and he's a lefty that throws like 92. So he wasn't really throwing even that hard, but I could tell that he was just like, he knew that I wanted to swing, and I could just tell that he was throwing a lot of strike to balls, and I'm like, ooh, these guys know what's going on. I'm like, there's a very well understand, like, you have a very good understanding as a hitter when you step into the box in the big leagues that, like, you're not just facing some guy out there that's just like trying to like throw the ball over the plate. Like, you know the catcher, you know the pitcher, you know all the analytics department and scouting and everything that they got going on. You know that they have a plan to get you out, and you can feel that in the box. And that's probably the biggest difference between the minor leagues and the major leagues. That the hitters, the catchers, the pitchers, everything, they know how to get you out. You know, there's you feel it in the box. Like you understand the sequencing sometimes, and you're like, these guys, man. You know, you can tell. That, I don't know if there's a specific because you face guys in the big leagues that, you know, you're like, yeah, you don't face those guys in the minor leagues. Those guys, there's not guys that look like that. But guys, you know, it's just more the understanding of like the sequences and what they throw you. You know that they have numbers behind you and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's you or them, right? All right, we're back in just a few minutes. Owen Miller, Milwaukee Brewer, on the Inside Wisconsin Show.
The Inside Wisconsin Show is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Aaron's Company, Blaine's Farm and Fleet, Capital Credit Union, Festival Foods, Quick Trip, Miller Lite, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, Provea Health, and the University of Wisconsin-Platteville.
Hey, remember to subscribe on YouTube, leave a review, smash the like button, just get with us. J.A., it's Miller time.
I'll take 2.
Yeah, one for each.
That's 4,
hand.
but 2. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's the beer you grab when you want your beer to taste like beer, and it's also the beer you grab when you're thirsty. So I was over at a buddy's house, my buddy V with the Pink Flamingos. We're in his garage, and look at this sign he's got. Can you see that?
There you go.
That is incredible. In case of thirst, break glass.
Can I just ask one thing about this?
Yeah.
Like, I have my mini fridge looks like that, but I just opened the door.
The idea was there's a bunch of Miller Lite cans in this case.
Sure.
In case of thirst, break glass. God.
Well, I'm going to have to do that immediately. I'm having a thirst emergency right now.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Yeah. But again, folks, that looks great. But you could also try hinges. Like, you go to a convenience store, you just open them. Because that's what it looks like you go to a liquor store. Because that's where I go get my Miller Lite.
Yeah.
You go in
Fancy
there,
concept.
And it all looks just like that. But then you know what I do?
Just open the door.
Suggestion. A lot less cleanup than trying to get all that glass off the floor. More clever hinges.
Well, hinges, glass, it doesn't matter. When you're thirsty and you want your beer to taste like beer, do whatever you need to do to get a Miller Lite. Light beer with the flavor you love, tastes like Miller time. I'll take 2. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/InsideWisconsin, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer, including liquor stores, grocery stores.
Where you just open a door. You don't even need to bring a blunt instrument to break the glass.
Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Just save the mess. Open the door.
That's all I'm saying.
Back on the Inside Wisconsin Show, in between segments with our guy Owen Miller. Time for another top 5 list. Yeah, presented by Wisconsin's best engineering school, the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. UW-Platteville offers an affordable engineering program, and its graduates stay in Wisconsin, driving innovation at top companies right here at home. Find out more at uwplatt.edu/engineering. Not an engineer. I don't know how those guys do it. That is a completely separate person.
Those dudes are problem solvers. That's what those guys are.
They don't talk much. All right, top 5 list time. J.A., we're going to preview, or not preview, we're going to look at your gloves later, but this is a lefty thing. You're a lefty. You're partial to the southpaws. Well, who are, in your book, the top 5 lefties in Brewers history?
Right. So I'm listening to Owen, and I think, okay, everybody's got a plan to get you out. Well, the first plan you should have in a major league to get somebody out is be left-handed. That's the best thing. And I've always prided myself on that. Like I'm getting loose right now, even though I've had shoulder surgery before when we come through. So as always, when I do a top 5 like this, and so I asked you guys, what about just the top 5 lefties that I think are Brewer? Some of it is personal, but give me the top 5 lefties and just indulge me because I'm left-handed, and that was at a time where finding a left-handed glove was terrible, and half the time they drowned you because they thought you were a witch or a warlock. It was a tough time growing up as a left-handed as a kid. So I thought I have some distinct memories of great Brewer left-handers. So here it is. As always, there's going to be a tie for 5th.
Sure.
And then there are guys who don't make the list because
honorable mentions,
need to get mentioned. So the first honorable mention, I thought about telling myself since I, threw out a first pitch one time, and I thought, what about John? I did not make the list. Sadly,
okay, good.
I threw a strike, but I did not make the list. The guy that mostly didn't make the list was way down, and the worst guy that's on the list. Do you know who Clyde Wright is?
No.
Clyde Wright is the only Brewer pitcher that ever lost 20 games.
Oh wow, lefty.
Yeah, and he was a lefty, and he was like 9-20 in 1974. So we're just going to shout out to him. He went out there. He took the shots on teams that weren't great. He went out every 5th day. He was a 20-game winner with the Angels. He won 20, but he's the only guy that ever lost 20 games in a season for the Brewers. So Clyde Wright is a lefty.
Good run.
Wright is lefty. So Billy Travers is on my list. He was a great forkballer from when I was a kid. When they first started, he was kind of there on the cusp, but mostly he was underappreciated guy, but was part of that rotation for a long time. Larry Sorensen, Jim Slate, and Jim Colburn. He was in there with that. Brett Suter just got thrown off the list. He was going to be on the list. Great guest, super fun. Love the Jim Carrey. Then he shut down the crew in Colorado. He's off the list. Get out. Love you then, not there.
Good to see you.
And the last guy that should be on the list and needs to be like honorable mention is Jerry Augustine.
Yeah.
Great left-hander, pitched for a decade.
Born.
Has been with the team forever. Born in Kewanee, pitched at La Crosse, I think. I think he was La Crosse, and I think Bob Wickman was Whitewater.
Yeah, that's true.
I think as I went. But so Augustine is like he's as synonymous with the Brewers as it comes since the franchise got here. And to this day is they're doing work. So Augustine he's right on the cusp.
All right.
Great middle reliever, had starts, had finish. Just what a versatile arm. I'm talking myself into making him like number 2. Just in
I was going to say.
Okay, so number 5. Here we go. It's
2 number 5s.
Yeah. 2 number 5. As always, there's a tie for 5th. There's room for that. There's 5A and 5B. 2 great relievers. Dan Plesac.
Yeah.
Lefty, all-time saves leader for Brewers. So that seems easy. And you get to see Plesac on the TV now once in a while.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you remember Bob McClure.
I know the name, but I don't remember him. I definitely remember Plesac.
Great left-handed relief pitcher. He actually started a few games with Milwaukee, but he spent 10 years in Milwaukee and 20 in the bigs. Pitched forever. Pitched till he was like 41-ish. I don't know if he made 42. I know he was at least 40, 41. So Bob McClure, heyday. People know Bobby McClure. He is the definition of the crafty lefty.
Cool.
He is the definition of if you're left-handed, you can stay in the major leagues forever, right? You can get to the show and stay forever. He did. 20 years. Was never like a fireman's relief award guy, but just he made 70 appearances a season and was dynamite. So we love him. Number 4, I don't know if you ever heard of this guy. I like to bring names out of the blue like Clyde. Number 4 is a fellow named Josh Hader.
Heard of him.
I feel like we should move on because I'm not sure you're over this still.
I'm not. Go ahead.
Because I think it was the right decision, although it turns out that it may have ruined last year's ball club.
And he's doing really well this year.
So Josh Hader, but he was a closer.
Yeah.
Long
really
hair.
Good lefty.
Yeah. So sometimes I tell you to look people up. I don't know that you need to look him up. Josh Hader's number 4. He arguably could be 3. Number 3 is kind of a personal pick. Is Juan Nieves?
Yeah, only no hitter.
Only no hitter. So he's out of the bigs by 23. His arm's gone. Right, he gets hurt and can't throw. But that magical year of 87, he throws the only no hitter in that great streak when the Brewers win 13 to open the season that the Rays just matched, which was great because you got to bring it back. By the way, when they won their 9th game, they did not throw a no-hitter. They didn't have Robin Yount in the outfield making diving stabs or whatever. But so Juan Nieves, also, by the way, same alma mater as my son. He went to Avon Old Farms right here in Connecticut.
No kidding. That's cool.
Yeah, from Puerto Rico, but played ball at Avon Old Farms. They still talk about him. They have 2 major leaguers in the program, him and George Springer, who's still playing out there. George Springer-Dinger.
Hey, who caught the no-hitter?
Oh, wow. You may have gotten me. I don't think it was Charlie Moore. I think Charlie Moore would have been gone. Was it Billy Schrader?
Yeah, damn it. I was so excited. Ugh.
You know what this is?
What?
This is a cat playing with the mouse.
Yeah. Oh, you knew it right away? You just jerk.
Sure. So Juan Nieves, who didn't have a long enough career, yet, by the way, has more complete games in his 80 starts or whatever he had than anybody on the staff now, any of the guys that have won Cy Young awards. 8 complete games and 5 shutouts. Right now, that gets you to the freaking Hall of Fame.
Right.
All right, number 2, Teddy Higuera.
Yeah.
Great left-handed starter, 3rd in wins.
Large mammal.
Large guy, and it was one of the few bright spots for a while right there when he had to wear some bad hats on some poor teams.
Yeah, he did.
And do you want to guess who number 1 is?
No, I've done pretty well knowing the guys that you've mentioned so far, so I won't guess. Let's just hope I know who he is.
So this guy, by the way, his hat always looked like this. Always. He just always looked like a workman. Mike Caldwell is number 1.
Okay.
Mike Caldwell is 2nd all-time in wins behind Jimmy Slayton, but he's the only other guy with 100 wins, 102, so 2nd all-time there. The year Ron Guidry was amazing.
Sure.
And won the Cy Young. He was like 25-3. The first game he lost, by the way, was to the Brewers and Mike Caldwell. He was a horse. The 82 team that went to the World Series, he was the lead guy, and he just came out and threw every day. He's got like 80 complete games. 80. The year that he was 2nd in the Cy Young Award, he completed at least 20 or 23. He had 20 complete games. And that's when they started 40. So, maybe he was underachiever, only got through half of them. But
What's a complete game these days?
Yeah, complete game. Like they said, you throw 100 pitches, get through 6 innings, and allow 3 hits and no runs, they'll throw a parade for you. And I get things have changed, but I don't get how that's changed.
And they yank you in the 8th when you're throwing a no-no.
Yeah, and this idea that they have now, for so long, we don't want to damage these arms. We don't want to damage these arms. And so they scaled back how much you could throw as a kid. And some of that was also because you didn't want the best kid throwing the whole time and striking everybody out and make the game no fun. But we've babied everybody's arm to a point that now nobody can throw. Like, I think it's had this reverse effect. How about you go out and throw and strengthen the muscle and throw all the time and play long catch? And if there's some really smart coach and major leaguer that wants to argue with me, that's totally fine. I just know that people used to throw complete games like crazy. And they didn't have a pitch count. And they didn't go 100, take them out. And there are guys that some flamed out, ruined their career. I get it. But there are guys like, and Nolan Ryan's probably a genetic freak, but there were guys like that, Mike Caldwell or Pete Vukovich that played, or Jimmy Slayton, these guys, Jim Colburn that played for the Brewers, Moose Haas, all these guys. They threw complete game after complete game. They all seem to live to tell about it. And now we can't, oh my gosh, we can't do this. He's thrown 120 20 pitches, and that's the end of them. At 8, go out and play catch every day. That's the start of it. Go play catch every day. Colin didn't go out and play until it was, time for practice. It was baseball practice to him might as well have been a piano practice. Oh, this is when I go play. This is when I play the piano. Okay, from 3 to 4 on Wednesday is my piano lesson. Great. Baseball, I have baseball lessons at 3 to 4 on Tuesday and Thursday. So that's my.
You can tell we're baseball guys. This is like a 4-hour show already.
I feel like I'm angry.
All right, Owen Miller, back to you, bud. We are back, the Inside Wisconsin show. Trevor Thomas, John Anderson, and Owen Miller, Milwaukee Brewer from Wisconsin. So let's talk about that for a second, Owen. You grew up a Brewer fan, right? I was doing a little bit of math. You would have been like 3 or 4 years old before Miller Park got built. Did you ever get to County Stadium? Do you have any memory of that? And what was it like, I guess, going to Miller Park as you got older?
I played on Hellfair Field.
Yeah.
The little one time when I was little. I mean, I probably was like 10 or 11 or something like that. But yeah, I definitely played there. I remember them saying that the home plate there was the home plate for County Stadium. So I always thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I would go to Miller Park all the time when I was little. My grandma and grandpa would take me to a lot of games. I was just actually last night, my buddy, we were talking about when we were little and stuff like that. And when you go to games and you'd watch the guys and stuff, I remember like showing up to the ballpark at Miller Park and like looking at guys, like looking at like the Cardinals players or the guys from the Reds and stuff, like when they're taking BP. I remember watching Adam Dunn hit BP, being like, that is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Or I can always remember, I was probably sitting way up top or something when I was really little. And I remember going to a game one time and they're playing the Phillies. And I walked all the way down and like snuck down and I went really kind of close to the field and Ryan Howard was hitting and he hit a ball like kind of to the Toyota, or maybe it's not called that anymore. Where the truck is.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And he hit one like above that. And I remember like from my angle and stuff, like it's like you'll never forget that. It's like something that you'll never forget. Like it's engraved in my mind. But yeah, I used to love going to the games when I was little and stuff like that. And Miller Park, I mean, I don't know, it's just like a different feel to Miller Park it's an AmFam now, but that ballpark, was something always so special.
So of the guys that played there, Ryan Braun was your guy. Why was he your guy?
I can remember in 2007 when he came up as a rookie and he hit like 30-some home runs. I mean, I remember you calling him on the radio all the time. I don't know. I just liked how he hit. Like he used the opposite field so well. I mean, he'd hit home runs to right field, and then they'd hang him a curveball, and he'd hit the ball like 450 feet to left. Like, I don't know. I just liked him in the box. I always liked watching him play and stuff. He just, something, I don't know, just like him in a jersey. He just looked right. He just looked like a Brewer. Him and Prince and stuff, like those years in like 2011. 2010, 2009, and 2011. I remember 2008, 2008, they made it that year. I think they lost to the Phillies that year. Because I remember Corey Hart making the last out in Philadelphia and me being upset about that. And then in 2011, obviously they had the Nigel Morgan years and Fielder and them. So I remember that. Actually, it's funny. I got another good story here. So when I showed up to spring training this year, one of the first days I'm in Arizona, and all of a sudden I'm standing there, and I'm standing right next to Ricky Weeks, and I go, Ricky. I'm like, man. I'm like, God. I'm like, I love. I said what's up to him, and he knew my name and stuff like that, and and he's like, man, you're from Fredonia, right, by the field, and I'm like, you definitely saw that somewhere, but I'm like, I'm glad that I'm glad you did, you're doing your research. I'm like, that shows you care. I'm like, I like that about, but he's like, I'm like, Ricky, I'm like, I loved watching you play when I was little. I'm like, I remember you just pumping balls out of Miller Park when I was little. And, I was doing his stance. I'm like, I can remember like it was yesterday watching my brother with his little Wii remote, hitting on the screen, doing your, with your wrists and stuff like that. I'm like, I talked to him and then, I mean, that started, Ricky was there almost every day in spring training. I messaged him every single day. We would talk with each other and stuff like that. But, it's just cool talking to a guy like that. And he plays second base. I play a lot of second base and stuff like that, and talking to him about things and just about certain things with pitchers and stuff like that. And we talked a little bit. I hurt my wrist there. I knew Ricky struggled with some wrist injuries and stuff like that, because I always remember that he had to get surgery on them. And just talking to him and stuff like that, I'm like, he's great. Ricky Weeks, unbelievable. I mean, there's a reason why they signed him to a contract, and he was a good player, and he was really cool to just talk to every single day in spring training and bounce ideas off of and just learn things from him.
So I'm going to combine 2008 and getting in a box, and guys have a plan to get you out. Do you want any part of CC Sabathia in those couple of months that he came over and threw for Milwaukee in 2008?
I remember that, actually. I remember that.
Who could forget?
What's that?
Who could forget?
Yeah, when he just like was dominant when he got traded over. Yeah, what was that? He went like 10-0 or something.
Something like that, and 7 complete games and 5 shutouts. And oh, by the way, it was a free agent year. Like, he was going to walk after that, and he could have very well just said no. And then they pumped him out there on 4 days. It was amazing.
Yep. Well, I can remember, honestly, I remember finding that out. Like, it's crazy because you can remember the days though. Like, I remember finding that out. I was up north, and we got a cabin like up in Minocqua. And I remember reading the paper, the Journal Sentinel, and like looking at Sabathia on the front page, and it's like, it's it was CC's time and stuff like that, and I could tell that, or I remember because I used to listen to Euchre on the radio, like when you're up there. We didn't have no TV up there or anything, so. And I don't know. I can remember that too, like so clearly that, he came and he looked so big in the Brewers jersey too. Like, he always had the biggest like pants and the biggest jersey, and, just throwing cheese and stuff like that. But did they play in that playoffs? Did they open with the Phillies? I can't even remember now.
Yeah.
They did, and that was the first.
And there was a bad 3-2 pitch. I forget who threw it. But it should have been a punch out, and they ended up walking the guy, and the fella came up behind him, hit a home run, and that was all that. That was the end of that right there.
Yeah, that was. I mean, the Phillies teams those years were really good. But yeah.
So you talk about Braun, you talk about Weeks. We say, see, let's say I'm a baseball playing kid growing up in Wisconsin right now. Tell me why I should be taping your picture up in my room. And you should be my guy if I'm a 9-year-old.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was telling some of the guys, like when we were playing the Cardinals a couple weeks ago at home, I like look at them and I go, some of the pitchers like in the dugout and stuff. I'm like, I look at one of the guys, I go, wait, I go, do you guys hate the Cardinals? And they go, I would say we probably have more beef like with the Cubs, just like hitting like Wilson Contreras and stuff. Like we had a couple of like altercations with that. But they're like, well, now he's on the Cardinals. But they're like, we don't really like him, but like, I guess we don't hate him. And I'm like, really? I'm like, why hate these guys? I'm like, when I was little, I'm like, I hated the Cardinals so much, just being a Brewers fan. I'm like, I just felt like that, I'm like, man, I just had it from like, I guess it's different. When you're playing and like, you don't like, you're playing, but you don't, you are playing on the team. So it's like, you obviously aren't gonna, you're not gonna like playing like some of your rivals in your own division. But I'm like, I grew up when I was little, not liking the Cardinals, the Cardinals and the Brewers. Like, I'm like, man, these guys always beat us. Like, they think that they're better than us. I'm like, they always have good players. I'm like, I don't like these guys, And I'm like, they're like, and then the more I would talk of probably some of the things I would yell in the dugout, I think guys were like, man, this guy actually really does not like the Cardinals. And they're like, this guy, I think guys kind of look at it and they're like, well, who wants the Brewers to win more than this kid from Wisconsin? Like, not many guys, And I'm like, well, I kind of have realized that, and I kind of have embraced that then too. So it's like, I mean, when we lose, like it definitely is not just like, oh, well, this is the team I play for. Like when we lose, I'm like, damn it, like what are we doing? Like, right, playing for the state, we're playing for the boys from Wisconsin. Like all the boys need to be like ready to go, So it's like, I just think that I have probably a passion and a drive like for the Brewers to win and make the playoffs and do well that I would say probably is not something you can probably teach. It's just like deep within. So that's probably the most straightforward, real answer to that.
Oh, love that. So when you got here then, and everybody knows you're from Wisconsin, did you and Council have a moment like you're one and the same? I know you knew him before you got here, but what was that interaction like going, hey, dude, like you and me, right? This is what we do.
I think, I think with Craig, I've really enjoyed my time with Craig so far, as a manager. And just, it's really nice. Just very similar type of players and stuff like that. I mean, Craig played 17 years in the big leagues and won 2 World Series. I mean, Craig was had an unbelievable career. And you can tell that a lot of guys really respected Craig. And I think Craig really was good at understanding, like, you have to be a really good teammate, and you have to be a guy that, picks guys up, and you got to be there for your teammates and your brothers. But then on, like, the other side, when you're playing the actual game, like, it's time to go. Like, it's time to be serious. It's time to lock in, and it's time to really, like, get in a different type of mindset when you play the actual game. And there's only, now with the pitch clock too, it's like you ain't got too much time of, like, really thinking or doing anything. Like, it's just playing. Like, there's just pitches going by, and you got to know what's going on in all situations. So I think just my conversations with Craig and kind of seeing how he goes about his day and how he manages, and just when he talks and stuff like that, you can learn a lot from a guy. And I've definitely done that with Craig so far. And it is cool that Craig is from Wisconsin, played for the Brewers, and now he manages for the Brewers. And I'm from Wisconsin, and now I play for the Brewers. So yes, it is really cool. And I think that we have a relationship, and probably a player to manager relationship that not a lot of other guys have. And I'm grateful for that. And, I hope that we can have a lot of success from it too.
A couple of things there. One, if he ever gets up, you can remind him that he was born in South Bend, even though he grew up in Wisconsin, and that's the birth certificate still says Indiana on it somewhere.
Oh, trust me. The where you're born thing has been a touchy subject with stuff, because I was getting on, one of the guys that we had to do stuff. I'm like, why does mine say Mequon? I'm like, why does it say Mequon? And he goes, well, what hotel or what hospital born at? And I'm like, well, yes, I was born in Mequon, like at the hospital in Mequon. Like, no shit, I was born at the hospital in Fredonia. And he's like, well, sorry, we have to put Mequon. And I go, you have to put Mequon. Like, who is stopping you from putting Fredonia? I'm like, how many people talk? Hey, why does it say Mequon? Why can't it say Fredonia? I'm like, I got 2,000 people from Fredonia. I'm like, that 2,000 people get pissed when they see Mequon. And he goes, yeah, sorry. He goes, if people, if people are mad about that, he goes, I guess, they can talk to me. I'm like, well, all right, I'm going to tell them that it's on you. It's not on me. Like, I've done what I needed to do to try to get it to Fredonia, and you guys don't let me get it to Fredonia, But
this is my
brother did not make that same mistake. He just put Fredonia. So every time the announcers or anybody talks about him, they go, yep, Owen Miller from Fredonia. They go, Owen Miller from Mequon. People are like, yeah, Mequon. I'm like, I ain't from Mequon.
Oh, I had no idea this was a thing.
Yeah, right? Crazy.
The other thing I was going to say is
I couldn't pull strings to get that.
Go look at a picture of Council right now, who's like 50-something, and go look at Sparky Anderson when he won the World Series with the Reds a couple times. One guy looks to be 67, and the other guy looks 30 when that happens. Real quick, it'll be less than real quick. The lights have gone out in Fredonia, in General Mitchell Field.
You there, Owen? There he is.
Yeah, I was looking at Sparky Anderson, honestly.
He looks to be 100. Go look at that. Hey, just quick, tell me, like, I always have faith in the team. I figure even some of the teams that were 60-win teams, I had targeted for 100 in spring training. But tell me what's good. What's good with the vibe? What's good with this ball club that I should be, that I'm going to be fully engaged clear into September?
I think we have a lot of depth as a team. I think we're very deep. We have a very good locker room. It's not just a given that not even in baseball, in any professional sports team, football, basketball, baseball, anything, hockey, like, you're not guaranteed to have like a group full of guys that get along well, are pulling on the same string, and are rooting for each other. Like, it's not just like a given. That's not a guaranteed. As much as time as you spend with guys and stuff like that, there's a lot of, things that happen within professional sports where it's like, guys just don't get along, or it's like, you see it on teams. Why is this team losing all the time? Well, these guys barely like each other, like, it's you can just see it sometimes when you watch. So I really believe that our clubhouse and the guys on our team, everybody's pulling on the same string. Everybody understands that hey, we're brothers and we're going out there and we're keeping competing together. And it's like, we want nothing more than to, win 100 ball games this year and make it to the playoffs and, have a deep run into the playoffs in October. So that's everybody's goal. And I think we really believe, we actually had Pat Murphy, our bench coach, was Arizona. He coached at Arizona State back in the day.
Yeah.
And he coached Dustin Pedroia back in college. And it was one of the coolest things, honestly, probably the best speech or anything I've ever heard. I've never heard a guy just control a room like this, or just how he talked. Pedroia came in and talked to us for about 25, 30 minutes in spring training one day. And he talked for 30 minutes, and every single one of us walked out of that room like, man, that was unbelievable. Like what this guy talked about and how his brain worked and how he kind of would lead those Boston teams, and how doesn't matter the payroll, it doesn't matter any of that stuff. But he goes, if you have a group full of guys that believe, that they're the guys that are, basically, like you guys should win the World Series. It doesn't matter the payroll, it doesn't matter what's going on. But if you guys truly believe deep down that you are that team and you are those guys, you could definitely have some success. And once I think everybody kind of put that in their mind too, I think you could tell like the vibe kind of changed. And it's like, we do have a lot of good players. We do have a very good mix of young guys to old guys to kind of guys in the middle. We got guys that can run. We got guys that can hit home runs. We got guys that really can play defense, and it's like, we got, pitching too. So it's like, we have the I guess, kind of everything if everything aligns and stuff like that. I mean, we really, really could, this could be definitely a memorable team. So I'm excited for this year. I mean, man, we're only, what are we? Not even a month into it, or about a month into it now. So we got a lot of baseball left to play. So it should be a really fun summer, and I'm hoping that there's going to be a lot of, I feel like it's my duty to do everything that I possibly can in my power to make the boys, good and keep the vibes good, and it should be a really fun summer for people to come to American Family Field. So I'm excited.
All in. I know John is too. All in. I'll be there tomorrow. All right. We're going to break. One more segment with Owen. We'll get him out of here. I think he's got to go to the ballpark. Back in a bit. The Inside Wisconsin Show.
The Inside Wisconsin Show is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Aaron's Company, Blaine's Farm and Fleet, Capital Credit Union, Festival Foods, Quick Trip, Miller Lite, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, Provea Health, and the University of Wisconsin-Platteville.
Hey, remember to subscribe on YouTube. Leave a review. Smash the like button. Just get with us. J.A., I got your back. It's Mother's Day this weekend. If you need me to go and pick something up for Mom and deliver it, I got you. It's a plant blowout at Festival Foods. So what do you want? Do you want a hanging plant? Do you want me to get her one of those patio plants? What do you want?
I need more of an explanation. And here's why. So Festival Foods and plant, like my sister and brother-in-law are on this plant-based diet. These are actual flowers, right? These aren't just plant-based
plant
foods.
I mean,
this
people eat
bratwurst. This isn't a bratwurst made out of dandelion greens or anything, right?
No.
Okay.
No. It's a 3-day plant sale featuring hanging and patio plants.
Okay.
All the top plants. There are grilling themed products that are on sale.
Yeah, not one of these Impossible Burgers or something made out of plants.
No, right.
Okay.
No, it's the plant.
I'll tell you what, I don't. And after Mother's Day, I will tell you, because on the off chance she might watch this, I can't. I'll tell you what I've done. I have organized quite the. I've organized quite the Mother's Day sting operation. It's a bit of a thing that we're doing.
Stay tuned. Much like the ambulance. Yeah. Stay tuned. All right. You tell that story afterwards. For all you other people that are scrambling, there's over 40 Festival Foods across the entire state. It's a 3-day plant sale, hanging, patio plants, whatever you need, grilling products. It is Mother's Day, but Mom's Grill, that's cool. Go to festfoods.com, figure out where your nearest location is, and get Mom a plant for Mother's Day. Don't screw it up. All right. Story time next time. I'm holding you to that.
I have one quick question to go with that.
Yeah.
You know what? Did you know that I got this glove from my mom, my catcher's mitt, on Mother's Day?
So you can play catcher there?
No. So because I wanted it. And my birthday and Mother's Day half the time match up, May 13th.
Okay.
So a lot of times, like this year, it was the 14th. So they match up. So one year for Mother's Day, I got her the baseball glove. I got her this glove, and then I took ownership of it.
How nice of you. Wow. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. No plans from Festival Foods, but here's a glove.
I got her a catcher's mitt, and then I've since adopted it. That's a true story, too.
That's amazing.
I got that glove from my mom for Mother's Day. Oh, wait, you're not even left-handed? Oh, I guess I'll take it.
Whoops. My bad. We are back, segment 3, the Inside Wisconsin Show. Trevor, John, Owen Miller with the Milwaukee Brewers. All right, so we've talked all show long. You grew up here. You're one of us, and you listened to the same cat on the radio as we all did when we grew up. Tell me the first time you met Bob Uecker. What was that like?
It was in spring training, and I was like, Uke, man. I'm like, the first thing I said to him is I said, my grandma passed away about 2 years ago, and she said she was the biggest Brewers fan, always had her radio on her, and always had 620 on with Uke, you know. And I was like, you know, Uke, I'm like, I can remember like it was yesterday being at, you know, up in Minocqua at our cabin in the summer, and like, you know, having the Brewers on and get up, get out of here, gone, you know, for like, it's just funny because when I'm in the cage during the game hitting and I hear him on the loudspeaker and stuff or I hear him, you know, in the cages and stuff, and he's talking, and I'm like, man, I'm like, this is just unbelievable. I'm like, this is all I used to listen to when I was little. Like, that's just, Uke was always on in the car or anywhere. So, you know, I loved to, I think I talked to him a little bit about Major League too, and his time from those movies. I always loved those movies too. I just think it was funny that he just was like himself in the movies. Like he just kind of was like, you know, hey, you just kind of go do your thing, you know. And I think that's hilarious. So
that was awesome.
But yeah, what a guy, what a legend. And it's cool seeing him around the locker room and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, last one. Then John's lightning round. I love this cheesehead thing that you guys got going. I know that you don't have a dinger yet this year. Is that correct?
Oh, I do not. I need one soon.
We need that. That'd be awesome to put the cheesehead on the cheesehead. What are you guys calling that? I was texting with Jeff Levering the other day, and he's like, I wonder, like, he's calling it a Colby Jack. I texted him back and said it should be like King Cheese Curd, crowning King Curd. What do you guys call that?
I mean, just, I guess the cheese, man.
The big cheese.
Like, yeah, get the cheese. Like, I mean, when I don't even know where it comes from sometimes. I don't even see it in the dugout. And all of a sudden, then, like, next thing you know, like, Willie has it when Robbie gets a home run. Like, Willie's just, like, magically, like, appears. Like, he gets the cheese. I'm like, where were you keeping that thing? So, but, yeah, it is pretty cool. I think some of the ones in the big leagues, like, I see around the league, like, I see some of them, and I'm like, I don't know about that one. I'm like, I don't know about that. But ours is simple and nice. You just put the cheese on, and you give some high fives, and then, you know, it's good. It's you know, not too much. Like it's just perfect. So.
Oh, yeah. The Angels got that samurai helmet. I'm not sure I get Ohtani, but I don't know that I'm buying that.
Yeah.
I didn't like the laundry cart the Red Sox had. I'm like, that seemed like a lame attempt to catch up, but you never know. So anyway. All right, I'm going to fire some things at you. We'll start with sort of headwear, since you had the cheesehead. Which of these is a proper hat? This one that's got a little life to it, or just like this boring one out of the box?
The life. You got to have some good. Some just, I don't know, fell in the water off the boat. Or, I don't know, got some fish stuff on it, or a lure in it. I'm
all for it.
Or honestly used for home plate too in wiffle ball. I use that one a lot.
We can do that, sure, love it. Where are we at? Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love?
Man, I'm not the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan, so I haven't even been talking about the situation yet, so don't even get me started on that. But trust me, I cried when Brett Favre left and when Rodgers came, and gonna have to give Jordan Love a chance. I mean, I hope that you know, he can step up to the table and learn and do well. So I'm a Jordan Love guy now.
Very good. Bases loaded, bottom of the ninth. Who do I want up? You, your brother, or your sister?
Definitely me, without even a question. Let that kid hit. He can field a final out in the 9th, but I'll be at the plate.
Very good. Best clubhouse spread not in Milwaukee.
New York, the Yankees.
Okay.
They do it pretty showy over there.
Do you have a favorite racing sausage?
I do not.
Okay, good. That's all right. I know you talked about your cabin in Minocqua, but just how far is up north?
I mean, I also got a cabin in Crivets. I call that up north too. So
okay.
We go like 2 hours.
Okay, 2 hours to get up north. Yeah, Crivets is close to home right there. We can get to send us the keys. We can get to Crivets in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So this kind of came from one of our old guests we had. You remember Davison when we had Davison on? Trevor, he talked about
Brett Davison. Yeah,
had guys on the boat. Tell me the teammate you have right now that you would not trust with a fishing pole.
I got a perfect one. I mean, this one's like actually perfect. I haven't even thought about this, but this came right into my mind. I'm not letting Weimer ever touch a fishing pole. That thing is like hit me on the backswing, like smash me like in the back of the head. Like if he goes through with that, so definitely Weimer on that.
Okay. Is the Pfister Hotel haunted?
From what I've heard, absolutely. Me and Yelich were telling Terang that the one day. I don't think he was believing us, but I'm like, I'm not even messing with you. Like, right. It's actually haunted.
Because I had to make this drive when I'd go to school from Green Bay all the way down to Missouri. How boring is the drive on I-55 to Bloomington Normal?
Oh, well, the first time I did it, I got pulled over. So after then, I hated it.
Good.
So
what is
cornfields the whole time?
What's a guardian?
A guardian out of something in the Marvel movie.
We'll just call it that. All right, I'm going to run through these quick because you've been to some places. Illinois State, that's the Redbirds. Where were the Javelinas?
The Peoria, the Fall League team.
Good. How about the Sod Poodles?
Amarillo.
Dude, you played for some teams. The Dust Devils?
Yeah, Tri-City, Pasco, Washington.
How about the Tin Caps?
4-win. Unbelievable ballpark.
Really? What do we like there?
What's that?
What do we like about that?
Just like the ballpark I think it was built for like a AAA field, but it was just it's in the Midwest League, in the league my brother's in. Yeah. So it's really nice. Right.
How about
City View?
The Leones?
Ponce Leones, me and Victor Caratini's team. I was just out there in the offseason in Puerto Rico.
That's awesome. Those people take their ball serious.
Yeah, they do. Not as serious as the Dominican league, but yeah, it was nice. It was nice. Little 2 weeks out there.
We're gonna pass on the Mariners Harwich. Of all those teams, which had the best cap?
You went out right there. What was that?
I said of all those teams, which one had the best ball cap?
The Sod Poodles. The Sod Poodles had the best one. It's like a little prairie dog with a Texas hat on. I'm like, this is really. I'm like, I am in Texas right now. When I was there in Amarillo that whole year.
And when you're in Amarillo, you are deep in the heart of. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that was terrific. That's great stuff. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you were there keeping the vibe and pushing the guys. And hey, if you get the team batting average and the team cholesterol level up, to 300, we're going to be great.
Yeah. I love that we got the heaviest team in baseball. That's unbelievable. I'll be keeping the vibes going strong. If I'm ever on the bench too, you'll probably hear me in the dugout. So.
Do you call him Rowdy or Big Randy? Do you go Rowdy or Big Randy?
I like Big Randy too. I do like Big Randy. Yelly calls that all the time. But Rowdy is everything. Rowdy is just an unbelievable player for the Brewers. Like that is the poster boy for the Brewers.
That's awesome. Looks like barrel man. All right, Owen. Thanks for coming on the Inside Wisconsin show, man. You're making Wisconsin proud. Cheers.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yep, great fun.
Awesome.
Owen Miller is one of us. Like, he was born and raised here, just like you and I. It's kind of fun to talk to him. It's like, oh, dude, let's go have a beer after we get done with the show. But he had a game to get to. We get it.
I get that. Sure. I like that the man has brought he's brought some hometown intensity to the group. He would like them to know that the Cardinals are not welcome here.
I love that.
Even though I have a little soft spot for the Cardinals in my heart from my first college roommate who listened to them constantly when I went down to Missouri. Which is really hard to do because I went down to college, the fall after they had lost the World Series. They lost 82, and then I'm down there in 83. But so I have a little something for them. It's, because of my guy, Steve Hefner. But still, that he's in there like, dudes, I really hate these guys. Like, I love that. And it sounds too, and maybe we erred in not getting him to do it. It sounds like that guy's got some baseball chatter in him. Like, he can bench jockey. Like, he's up in there. Yeah, I think that would be great. When he's not there, I can hear him riding the opposition to the point that they may want to turn around and punch somebody in the face, which I love.
And he is standing in spring training and hears Bob Uecker's voice, and he's like, all right, there's that. Well, another John, Wisconsin. So thank you for getting the ambulance story out of the way. Sounds like we disappointed a couple of your friends, but you brought it home with how you followed that up. What's next?
That's all right. But I don't, I like to think I am perfectly transparent. When I tell you it's going to underdeliver, it'll, listen, I spent my whole career going to break saying, join us again on sports or whatever. And it's like, what can I overpromise? What can I, what can I do to make you come back? That might not be it. And that was the ambulance story.
It worked.
So because we have a brewer, our first, active brewer on the roster, I was thinking I have every baseball glove I've ever had except for one, which I brought to a Marines Toys for Tot Day at County Stadium. This was a great old blue glove. Can still see it. Danny Jansen on my first team when I was 8 had the same kind of glove, so everyone's would get confused. And by the way, he was a little 8-year-old towhead like me. But it's amazing how that it becomes apparent right at that moment that a glove is your thing, and it's like you put your hand in that glove looked exactly the same as mine. He was left-handed, I wouldn't put it on. And I'm like, wait, this isn't my glove. That's all it's like, fingerprints, DNA. And so you learn. So I'm like, okay, I gave that one away. And then I thought, but I'm never giving another glove away. Wow. Like, I'll buy gloves at Christmas and Angel Tree, but you can't have my gloves anymore. So I have all my gloves. So
you do. Let's go.
And I'm just going to go through them.
All right.
I have them all in the glove bag right there, right? That's an old bag that one of my track teammates from Nigeria gave me. That's why it's in this old Africa bag.
Glove bag.
I got the glove bag. So before I can get to the bag, though, you got to have this. This is my ESPN rec jersey. This is from the softball league. That was me, and I was the only Christian guy on a team full of Jewish people. So my boy Josh Bernstein, we were the tribe in honor of that. So my boy Josh Bernstein, who now works for them in hockey, so I played on the tribe. So the first glove after that, this is the first glove I bought myself. Right there, that's in 6th grade.
Wow.
By the way, you should always have a baseball in your glove just to make sure you keep the pocket straight.
I hope they all baseball.
Like, I looked at this the other day. You can still see where my mom wrote my name in it, for goodness sake. It's worn out. And what's amazing about this, when I bought this up at the Prangy Way store next to the Sears up there. Still fits like a glove, right? Wow. Still fits like I wore it yesterday. At the time, this guy was a Dodger, came out to be a great brewer. Don Sutton autograph.
Don Sutton autographed it. That's incredible.
Well, no, he didn't autograph it. It's a Don Sutton autograph model.
Oh, yeah. It's signed by. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So there you go. So I have that. That's the glove I used until I was 21 years old.
Wait, is that the one that you won the championship with that we did the bobblehead of?
Yep.
Yes.
This one has seen us both win the city championship and then win our division the following year.
There it is. Look at it.
Yeah. This was 6th grade. So I'd have had that for a little team. There I am.
Outstanding.
Yep. It's faded.
The glove is here and it's on the right hand too. I get it. That's awesome.
So when I was also a kid, the first team I was ever on, this brewer team in just the city league, and the coach, Scott King, young kid, right? He was 20 years old.
Sure.
He said, go out to the position you want to play. Okay, great. I ran out to third base. Not really sure why I went to third base. I'm not sure there was, if there was anybody, Don Money was playing third at the time. I thought, I'm going to be Don Money. And it turns out, because I'm an idiot left-hander, had no idea, it's the only spot on the diamond I've never played.
Not many lefty third base.
Plays it right, can't have that. And you're like, well, who catches? Oh, some of us catch.
Oh.
So I have my left-handed catcher's mitt.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
I have a left-hander's catcher's mitt from back in the day when I was I went from the Brewers to this little team called the Cubs. Mr. Herwall was our coach. With Nicky. Tom Juretic was on that team. Some guys. There it is. We had a chance to win the championship. And the kid's name escapes me, which is fine. We don't even, and he strikes out with two guys. And I was never so relieved to have a kid strike out. And then the game, I was in the on-deck circle.
Oh, that's a pressure that kids can't handle. I hated that.
I wanted no part of that. No part of that. I was not, and still, I think to this day, not ready, prepared for that kind of clutch creep. So we still have, and now that one, because it had the hole, you had to kind of go inside.
Yeah.
So I still have my left-handed catcher's mitt, which
that's outstanding.
Hard to find. So then for my 21st birthday, I said to my mother, I'm like, I really need a baseball glove. She's like, you're 21 years old, right? This is like adulthood. This is not when you're going to get a new glove. That's just dumb. I'm away at college. I'm like, I want to have what do you want for your birthday when you come home from a zoo? Really like to have new glove. Well, you're an idiot. You can't have that. So I get home. I'm home for, I don't know, a few hours. And my brother Bill, who's 6, 7, 8 years older, he swings by the house and he walks in. He goes, oh, happy birthday. And he throws me this bottle and I look at it and it's glove oil.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Now I tell Mom, gig's up. Where's the glove? There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, that's a Mizuno. So I've gone from a couple Louisville, or excuse me, a McGregor to a Wilson, and now Mizuno is all the rage.
Wow.
So there's my Mizuno glove from the time I was 21.
And that's the softball glove that you played with the league?
No, that's coming.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Don't get ahead of the game.
Sorry.
So, but I had to use this for softball because at 21 I was not playing hardball anymore.
Right.
But my buddies and I in the summer, we'd go play workup, or we'd go play. I don't know if it's the right way, if you can say it anymore. I don't know that it is not politically
correct. Back 40 baseball. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. So, and you'd take a guy out of play, or you do whatever, and it didn't matter if we had 2 guys or 7. We figured out how to play baseball, and so we played summer baseball there, summer softball. I played for a team that was my dad sponsored. I played for Mike's Crow Bar over on Lion Kiln Road. I don't know if that's still open, but I played softball for that one. Then when I was in Tulsa, a buddy of mine got so mad he was giving up the game, and he threw down his glove, and he walked away. And I'm like, well, that's just dumb, so I can't do that. So I just picked up the glove, and I kept it with me thinking the guy will come back. Well, he never came back, and it is the best outfield glove I've ever had because it's big.
Wow.
And so I got this when I was in Tulsa, probably when I was like 26-ish.
Upgrade, Velcro.
And
Big upgrade.
And I put it on, and you know what? It fit like a glove. This should have been my glove the whole way. It should have never been this guy. It fit from day one. I'm like, how is this not mine? By the way, you notice here, right? You got a little.
Yeah, what happened there?
Well, because I had to restring it.
Oh, you did that?
Of course I did.
Oh. I took mine into a shooter place.
If you got a glove bag, you got to make sure you have stuff to read.
Wow, jeepers.
Yeah, so you got to do all that. So that's 4 gloves. Then you know what happened? I turned 50, and I didn't have a good infield glove.
So you got that's a Rawlings.
At 21, I got a glove, and at 50, I got a new infield glove.
Wow, look at that.
This one, right? And this one, you never want it. This one, infield, you don't ever want to break it in too hard. You want that to be open so that ball just pops right out. Right?
Oh, Andy North bit the touch.
Yep. So you got to have that so it just pops right out. You don't ever want to totally feel that. Kids remember that when you have your outfield glove, you want it to, trap on it. Mm-hmm. This one you want open so you can hit it off the heel. You can do all kinds of stuff. You want to catch it on the outside to turn your double play. I don't have time to teach you all the fundamentals. That's where my guy Fred McGriff comes in with Tom Amansky's back-to-back national championship drills. But yeah, so this was 50, and then I was, at that time I was helping with Collins teams and some stuff, and so in the pitching some and infield, so I needed a new glove. This one is unbelievable. This right here, honestly, when it goes on, I may not take this off. I may just hang on to this for the day because it feels so.
Incredible. Who signed that one now on the inside?
Nobody. That's just the Gold Glove Elite. This baby was. This is the most expensive glove I've ever bought.
No doubt. No
50,
doubt.
50. I had a little wipeout money in the bank, and so I told everybody, if you want to pitch in and whatever extra comes, Dad will take care. By the way, that's a ball from the spring training of the Chibalata Marines, who were in. Hang on, I think. Yeah, this one, that's Phil Necro, Hall of Famer Phil Necro.
What? Put that in a glass case. Jeez.
Oh, in safekeeping, it's in the glove.
Yeah, it's like when Ernie Johnson pulled out a baseball signed by Jackie Robinson. Just happens
those
to be
are my five. Those are my 5 gloves.
That's incredible.
And then I'll just tell you, I also have my dad's.
Oh, that's cool. Wow. Oh, look at that.
From when he was a kid.
Holy man.
Now, he was not left-handed. And this is what you need to know. Remember when they always say, use 2 hands on that ball, right? Well, you don't need to in today's modern game, but you did back then because otherwise it popped out. So that's why you always had the 2 hands on the ball. That's fundamental, kids. But, yeah, so I also have my dad's glove that probably needs to be restrung, but I'm not sure right now that I really want to.
Yeah, don't touch
that. But that's always in the glove bag, too, just in case. You never know. Somebody goes, you got a right-handed glove? And I'm like, I do. Hang on. Here you go.
There it is.
It looks a little like the Rockers logo, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Oh my gosh. Hang on, I got that thing right here.
Yeah, when it comes through. So that's what's in the glove bag. John, Wisconsin is just a trip. And by the way, Trev,
yeah,
I know you can. Yeah, let me see what you got here.
Hold that up. Yeah, I'm back. Ugh.
Yeah,
Look at that. Look at that. Holy crap.
Who knew?
That's it.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna leave you with this.
All right.
Because this is where, to me, baseball is all the senses. It is the smell of the hot dog with the stadium sauce. It is the fresh cut grass. If you could smell right now all that leather in here, musky leather. I mean, this is what I feel like my library or something should smell like. I feel like this is what Tom Brady smells like. Something masculine leather. And leathery, and because that's Tom's Yankee Candle scent. So I'm like, just pulling it out makes me want to go, throw batting practice or field. I'd have more fun shagging fly balls.
All right, what a great way to end up a baseball episode. God, I love that we're both baseball guys. Go baseball, that's right. All right, make sure to subscribe here on YouTube. Like us wherever you follow us on social media. And as always, download us on the podcast side of things, even though if you're listening to this, you really need to go and find this video because these gloves are kick-ass. All right, J.A., put those away now. Don't ruin them.
By the way, I look like a 12-year-old just sitting here in my worn-out hat, my ball glove, and I'm looking out the window right now, and it's kind of rainy, and I feel sad like when I was 12. I'm like, I'm not even going to get out and go play ball.
Throw it at the
window. I'm just going to sit here with a fat lip going, can't believe I don't get to play ball today. And so at 57, soon to be 58, holy shnikes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 50 years later, it's the same thing all over again.
I know that you're 18 years older than me because you graduated high school the year I was born. No offense. That's the math.
Understand. Yeah. And the world started then. Before that, none of that history matters.
Gotta go.
All those people are just made up characters. It's all fiction.
Love you too. As you were, Wisconsin, cut.
I feel like it's these pieces that Wisconsin misses most, right? Like every kid should ride on a John Deere tractor right above a tire going 10 miles an hour down a road with nowhere to go.
Yep.
Isn't that cool?
Farmers, brewers, hunters, packers, badgers, cheeseheads, neighbors. No matter what name we go by, we are bound together by our roots. These are the people, the stories, and the statriotism from inside Wisconsin. Welcome to Deeper Roots with Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
farmandfleet.com/deeperroots. That's where Jason found us. Jason Anderson. We are on the Anderson family farm. We are in Elroy, Wisconsin, on a farm that began in 1860. That is some deep roots.
So yeah, it started in Norway. They had a big famine in Norway in the mid-1800s. So my great-great-grandfather, John Vedum, sold his shares of the farm to his brothers and moved here. He started a lumber company up by Pittsville, Wisconsin. And all the lumber that's on our barn came from that lumber yard. They bought this piece of property here in 1885.
So you saw the very first Deeper Roots episode that we did with my original family farm, even though I'm not a farmer. There is something very unique, very deep about the original heritage land where it all started for your family. How important is it to you to just keep this in your family?
Very important. It's pride. We still are in contact with our relatives in Norway, and I was fortunate enough to visit there a few years ago. Proposed to my wife over there, so I have memories there now. We have memories here growing up. Our dad grew up here, our grandmother and uncle grew up here. It just keeps going on and on and on.
Take us back to some of those times where, yes, you're 5th gen, but you clearly know the 4th gen. She's standing behind the camera, and the 3rd gen, right? I mean, this is family for you. What were times like then in comparison to what they are now?
We were fortunate enough to grow up and have all the history behind that and all the neighbors that we have around here. We were all basically big, huge family.
What was it about the stories that we're sharing on Deeper Roots that you were like, that is my family story?
Well, they were all pretty amazing. I've watched every episode. Everything was different. Everything obviously had the Wisconsin theme behind them, and every one of them had hard work, dedication, commitment, and love. And that's my family.
You just explained how Wisconsin was formed. I mean, that is the deepest root that Wisconsin has, in my opinion, is the farming community. It built what we have today. What does the word farm mean to you?
Hard work, a lot of sweat, a lot of tears, family, and love. Part of the reason why this farm is in the condition it's in is we all went our separate ways. I stepped away from the farm thinking that it's been here 100+ years, it's not going to go anywhere, and I took my eyes off it, and it's gone, or almost gone.
It's not gone yet, though.
It's not gone yet.
So what is the plan to keep it alive?
Use the farm that I'm farming with now to hopefully rent this property next year, and then hopefully between my brothers and I and our mother, we can figure out a way to keep it going on to the next generation.
There is a tractor behind us that has been here a minute. If that tractor could talk and tell us something in 2023 from when it was in its prime, it would be like, what are you doing, right? If you're anything like me, I feel like it's these pieces that Wisconsin misses most, right? Like every kid should ride on a John Deere tractor right above a tire going 10 miles an hour down a road with nowhere to go.
Yep.
Isn't that cool? The natural next place to come when we take a walk on a farm is the milk house. This is like state of the art for its day.
Yeah, it was an updated version, electric obviously. We had the big bulk tank that was cooled. All of the milking equipment was pretty up to date.
How old is this barn, man?
This was the first building built when the property was bought back in 1865.
How many cows could this hold?
I believe 42. Most dairy farms in this area averaged about 40 to 50 cows with 100 acres of land.
I take it that you and your brothers milked in here?
Yes. When we were young, my dad and my uncle owned this, and my uncle had one side and my dad had the other side, and they both had 2 milking machines. So they would start from the back and milk their way this way. And then when my brothers and I got old enough and started milking, that's what we did.
The old hay barn. Been in better shape, seen better days, a little bulge out there. You and your family, I'm certain, we're good, are gonna reclaim some of this wood.
You can never replicate this.
Yeah. This all came from the family lumberyard.
It was brought down by train to Elroy, unloaded in Elroy, and then brought out by horses.
These are some of the things I think when we look at family farms in Wisconsin, the good, the bad, the ugly. It's sitting in barns like this with original wood and family history.
How do you beat this? All this wood, I can say a family member had their hands on it, carving it out, hewing it. In the main frame structure of the barn, there's not a single nail. It's all wood dowel.
Really?
You think about them doing that back in the 1800s. They did it all by hand with what they had, out in the middle of nowhere.
The fact that you just said that is incredible. This is all wooden dowels, no nails.
No nails.
Jason, Mom just handed me a picture of, I think, the original farm.
Yep.
And this is the original house. Look, the windows are in the same place. Look, at the railroad was still here.
I'm guessing 1950s that was.
Let's go check this out to kind of finish the tour, and there's some family history in here that you can share with us, yeah?
Pretty much our family museum in here.
Family museum. Watch your head.
Watch your head.
All right. Oh, this is the family history before things like where you spit in a tube and send it in. This is how we tracked it back in the day. So, Ole?
Ole.
Amazing. Let's just pause there for a second and remember that your family farm started with an Ole.
Can't be Norwegian without an Ole.
That's right. 1818. Man. And this is the family museum.
It's one of the, that one is just a diary of the births and deaths back then that my great-grandfather, or great-grandmother Mattia kept.
Look at the handwriting. What a lost art that is. 1919. I wonder if they knew the Packers were starting at that exact same time. I don't think cable TV existed back then.
Probably not.
Just books that say record and family trees and...
That's our whole history right there in Norway.
Ole Anderson. If you could leave us with a word of wisdom from what was the Vidum farm as it was established here in the late 1800s, early 1900s, what was the saying that's somewhere plastered on the inside of these walls?
You can't seem to have anyone say anything about Wisconsin without saying farm. It just seems to be what the state is and what it was and how it became.
The people, the stories, and the patriotism of America's dairyland. I don't care what the commercials say. Happy cows come from Wisconsin, not California, and it started here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks. Cool. Good to meet you guys. Really
Pleasure.
grateful.
Thanks for coming.
So you really do have a spot for me out here.
I do.
You cool if I hunt?
Yeah.
That's on camera.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not here, but
What do you mean
around here.
You ever get bats in here anymore, you guys? It's good. Tall guys don't like bats and spiders, not gonna lie to you. It literally looks like a murder weapon. I'm gonna put it back. Did you dunk on this back in the day?
I did.
I bet you did.
And if you did it wrong, your leg would go down in there and you'd get yourself cut up.
Yeah, got scars too?
Yeah.
And then let's go check out in the happens to tall guys. You go. Tell us a story about you and your brothers from the farm that mom doesn't know. It's confession time, boys.
We just talked about the statute of limitations.
There it is, another great episode of the Inside Wisconsin Show's Deeper Roots with Blaine's Farm and Fleet, and what a meaningful one at that. Great to be on the farm again. This deep-rooted story came to us through our website, farmandfleet.com/deeperroots. Jason went on there and filled out the form. You should too. Just head to farmandfleet.com/deeperroots. We'd love to hear from you. If you're watching on YouTube, remember to like us, subscribe, all those things. Leave a nice note too for Jason and the entire Anderson family. That'd be great. And if you're listening to the podcast, drive safe and then go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. We'll see you next time.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Remember to subscribe on YouTube, leave a review, smash the like button, just get with us.
The Inside Wisconsin Show is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Aaron's Company, Blaine's Farm and Fleet, Capital Credit Union, Festival Foods, Quick Trip, Miller Lite, North Star Mohican Casino Resort, Provea Health, and the University of Wisconsin-Platteville.
Shut up and sit down.